Right, we are live. All right, been waiting all week. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, people from all over the world. Welcome. I am here live to the weekly beer and video review show with me, your host, Danny Salay, aka Travel Man Dan, aka Movie Man Dan, aka Reading Man Dan. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We have an amazing show. We're gonna have a great time. Thank you for spending some time with me, whether or not you're watching this live or whether you're going to go ahead and catch us on the replay. I want to say thanks a lot for just taking a little bit of time and watching and seeing what I have to say. And I'm not too opinionated, so don't worry about that. I'm not going to get in there too deep, but we are going to drink some beers. We're going to talk about some videos that are coming out on my channel, and in between we're going to have some some weekend news discussions. I'll answer back some comments. Feel free to comment in, say whatever you want. I'll definitely try to respond to each and every one of them. And at the end, well, about in the middle of it, we're going to do this day in history. Then we do a what are you reading, what are you watching segment. All in all, we just have a great time. And we close it out with quote of the week, something to go ahead and ponder, something to think about, something that maybe has struck me during the week. And well, that's what I like to close out the show. So thanks a lot for once again joining me, whether you're live with me right here, right now, or you are watching this on the replay. So who do I have live with me now? Who's here? Anybody? I'm waiting for the first comment to come up and pop up there. Say what's up to your boy, and hope all is well. If you're new to this channel, we got Greg Z, my man, is here. Yes, Greg. All right. Thank you so much. Always look forward to seeing your name pop up there in the comments, and you're always a pleasure to talk to and have here on the live show. So thank you so much. We got Tenacious Freak in the evening. What up? Denmark in the house. Always, always, always happy to see my friends from Denmark pop up there. So thank you so much. Look, if you're new to this channel, what you want to go ahead and do is hit that subscribe button right there. Be sure to click the notification bells so that you're notified when new videos come out weekly. We put out, I don't know, maybe 3 to 4 videos every week. So, you know, I'm just trying to figure out, who do we got? Bara, yes! We got Barrows in the house. High five, good to see you here from India. This is awesome. I'm so psyched to have people from around the world hop in and spend their time with me. You know, like I was saying, I'm not really sure what it is, what YouTube's looking for, how they go ahead and work their algorithm. You hear a lot of stuff, you hear a lot of things, but one of the things that I've, you know, kept my mantra on and my motto, and why I have actually started this. My profession is an actor, but why I started here on YouTube and I continue to keep that mantra is I want to produce more than I consume. So I don't know. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I just want to go ahead and produce more than I consume, and that means making videos. So we have definitely added a lot of videos over the last year. We're coming up on the 100th Travel Man Dan video. I know lately, because of the quarantine and the lockdown situation, I'm not able to travel too much, so we've shifted and we've added Reading Man Dan. We're going to soon take Reading Man Dan and put that over, and it's going to be coming out every other week on a different day. Now we got our micro videos, we got this live weekly beer and video review show, and we have, of course, every other week, our Food Friday show. So without further ado, one last time, thank you so much. Let's get into today's beer. We are heading to Europe. We are heading to Europe. If you haven't noticed, well, I'm wearing a European Olympic shirt given to me by my friend Giannis from Latvia. Okay, this is a friend of his gave it to him, who was on the skeleton team, the Olympic Latvian skeleton team. It's more, it's that single bobsled thing that they ride down the luge. So this is an actual Olympic shirt that they wore to, whether it was a training center or where they were going to events and things like that. But yeah, really cool, really happy about this. And of course, you can see the stars and the stripes. And today is American Flag Day, so we're gonna get into that a little bit later. But I wanted to go ahead and wear this because I'm very proud of my country. Although at the moment, and we're going to get into that in a little bit later, it is a shit show out there. I'm still real proud of them. It's more about what the Stars and Stripes stands for. And then, you know, I'm a man of the world. I like people from all different countries, all different places. So I'm wearing the American flag to go ahead and show support of my own country, but the Latvian Olympic shirt because I love Latvia and my Latvian friends, and it's just a great place. But enough of the ramble. Let's get into the talk that I was going to start with, and that's we are headed to Europe. And today's first beer is one of my favorite beers of all time. This delicious Pilsner you can find in Germany. That's right. I think it comes from the Berlin region, or Berlin is the city where it is brewed, but I'm talking about this one right here, and this is the Warsteiner. Okay, I was in Germany about 3 years ago on my way home from China. I stopped in Latvia for 3 weeks, and then I stopped in Germany for 2 weeks, and I kind of visited Berlin, and I fell in love with the place. I think it's one of the coolest cities in the world. I think the west side of Berlin, where it's much like the western part of the world, is cool. It's modern. Everything is really, really well engineered, from the doorknobs to the roads to everything is just, you know, really well kept. Yes, 11.2 ounces. It is 11.2. Greg, nice job, Greg. So yeah. You could buy this one at Trader Joe's, but this is what I fell in love with. And the cool thing about Berlin was they didn't give a shit if you just cracked a beer on the subway or if you're walking down the street. I stopped in and ate out pretty much every breakfast, lunch, and dinner, though I didn't drink beer for breakfast. Maybe one time I think I did. I think I did drink beer for breakfast, but I definitely had beer every lunch and dinner, and it was usually Warsteiner. It was really good, but I found this delicious beer at Trader Joe's, of all places. I was walking through there last week, I was like, what? Is that, what? Yes, it is. Why, yes, it is. And I picked it up. It is of the weaker beers. It is a 4.8%, but a lot of times when you have Pilsners, they are going to be a little bit weaker. And let's go ahead and crack it. We got our lucky red bottle opener. We're going to crack open the Warsteiner, take a whiff. Ooh, man. All right. So right away I can smell the really nice tasting of the barley and the roasted hops in there. That is delicious. Really nice flavor to smell. And we got our beer glass, and let's go ahead and pour this. Now, as Greg alluded to before, this Warsteiner isn't 12 ounces, which is your standard American can or bottle of beer. This is 11.2 ounces. So they have left us with a little bit less, but it fits well in the glass. It's really nice, and it's got a great little color to it. Leaves a good head on top. Okay, almost really kind of a lighter beer, but you can see the carbonation, you can see through it. It's got a nice color of yellow and, well, a faint amber color to it. But yeah, let's go ahead and taste this Warsteiner from Germany. Wow. There's just something about this beer. It's like when you're drinking it, you're tasting a meal. It's got this really hearty flavor to it, and really refreshing. Like, and you can feel the maltiness on the aftertaste, and washes down quite well. Really good with schnitzel. You know, when I was in Berlin, I wasn't a huge fan of the currywurst. Pilsner, yes, it is a Pilsner, my man. Tenacious Freak, it is a Pilsner. Check it out. That is a good look at the bottle, the label. If you haven't tried this, I'm sure you can find this in Europe. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to one day going back over there. Maybe it was something that, I don't know, just something about the currywurst. The currywurst is basically like a hot dog cut up. It's got curry and ketchup all over it. It's really big in Berlin with beer. But I love the beer. Didn't really love the currywurst, but I'm looking forward to going back to Germany. I'm thinking possibly next October, not this upcoming October, but the October after that. What I'd love to do, I'm not sure if he's game, He might be, but I would love to get my father. And my father, Dad, if you're out there, I'm not even sure if you're even watching this, but I'd love to get my father to fly to Germany for a few days during Oktoberfest. Now that he's retired, and we just get slobber knockered in our what are they, Heaterweisers, hosers or something? Those weird little German outfits. Yeah, that's it's definitely on the bucket list, and I look forward to that, and I hope that one day I can go ahead and celebrate it, not only by myself, but definitely with my dad would be an exciting trip. So let's go ahead and talk about last week's video. So as I was saying before, we went ahead and because we were stuck in quarantine, I had to go ahead and make something. So we created a new show called Reading Man Dan. It's a lot of fun. It goes ahead and gives me an opportunity to go back to when I was a kindergarten teacher and I would read stories to children throughout the day. And it was fun, like I'm not sure how, big or whatever it's gonna get. I really don't care. That's just something that I like to do for fun, and we'll see what happens with it. So last week's video was called Spring Song, and it was a kid's book about the spring and what happens during the spring and the rabbits and the flowers and the butterflies and all kinds of stuff. And that's what makes it cool is I got a little diversity with my channel. My favorite thing to do is probably just go out and vlog and walk around and travel, especially if it's an outdoor kind of cool thing like Fredericksburg Castle or Thomas Dambo's Trolls. And if you haven't seen those videos, I'll go ahead and throw them up there right now. But then I like the food stuff. And so with this Reading Man Dan, it allows me to be diverse, allows me to go in there and, bring attention to a whole new audience, especially with kids. So yeah, we'll see what happens. If you get a chance, check it out. If you have kids in your family, whether they're your own kids or your friends' kids or nieces, nephews, whatever, maybe they'll like something like that. Just put it on there and watch me act like a goofy ass while I'm reading books. So a lot of fun. If you haven't seen that video, it is out. It came out last week. So yeah, check it out. Let's go back into the Warsteiner because I am getting pumped up as every week. I'm super excited to come live, and when I see some familiar faces popping up in here, makes me extremely happy. So cheers to you guys. I'm gonna drink this sip for my crowd, for my community, whatever you want to call it. Thank you for joining me, and cheers, everybody. All right. Yeah, it's got a really good taste to it. There's not a lot of ever imagine live again. Every time I imagine to get you live, and yes, Wunderstudel, yes, good to see you, good to have you here. I believe your name is a German name, but we are drinking German beer, Warsteiner. I just took a swig of it. It's delicious, refreshing, cool, crisp. I know it's about 100 degrees here in California, and in here the studio bar is sweltering hot. So when you have a nice Pilsner like that Warstein to wash down the heat, it's really good and leaves you comfortable, and it gives you that really nice taste of beer. Just that, I don't want to say basic because no beer is basic, but when you have that quench for beer, and it's just a really light beer. No, I don't know, maybe you do quench an IPA or a black stout, but when I quench beer, I go ahead and I thirst for that just simple, easy, clear, refreshing beer taste of a Pilsner, and Warsteiner really hammers it down. Hey, Steve, my little brother is here. Yes, what's up, Steve? All the way from the Adirondack Mountains of New York State. Steve is up in the Adirondacks. I don't know who's familiar with the Adirondacks. It's a beautiful area in New York State. Here's the thing about New York State. I grew up in Western New York, in Buffalo, New York. A lot of people don't know how big New York State is. And if you're just watching this and you're catching this live, New York State from like my house in Buffalo to like Lower East Side Manhattan is probably about 7.5, 8 hours. But in between all that, you got Albany, you got Syracuse, you got Rochester. These are some other cities. New York State is freaking beautiful. You got the Finger Lakes, all right? You got the Adirondacks Mountains. Down in the lower part, you've got some great forests bleeding into Pennsylvania, just epic rivers and lakes. And Steve, thank you so much for joining me way up there. What are you drinking? Are you having a Saranac? I believe Saranacs are from up in that way. I definitely enjoy drinking Saranacs. All right, so guys, let's talk about what's going on, okay? We are talking COVID-19. That's right, still going on, man. It's still happening. Things are, loosening up a little bit. I don't know what the right terminology is to say, and I certainly don't want to say it on the show and offend you because, well, I want you guys to have your opinions and be able to say them here on the show. And without any arguments and stuff, because after all, everybody has their each own individual opinion. And what's going on right now is people are still being affected by COVID. Those are facts, okay? Medically proven facts that people are still getting sick. Now, places are loosening up, okay? They are going here in California, and you're now starting to see restaurants with dine-in service. You're starting to see salons open up with protected coverage. I'm here too. Yes, Pops is here. Dad. All right. We got some family in the house. Always excited about that. So, we don't really know exactly what's going on until there's a vaccine for this thing. And then even when there is a vaccine, well, is this going to be something that's going to be like yearly? Are we going to go through a COVID-20? Are we going to go through a COVID-21? Is this going to be like a flu type thing? I saw today on one of the stations, I forget, I just happened to be watching it, and they were saying that it's being tracked from bats. And it's a really cool special that they're going to show, and how the antibodies within a bat are able to mutate these crazy deadly viruses and then pass them to humans. Well, of course, I know some cultures and countries and customs, they eat friggin' bats. So that would be definitely one way to transfer it. But I got to be honest with you, all in all, I'm getting an enormous itch to go out and travel. I've already had 3 or 4 trips canceled. Tons of Travel Man Dan stuff has been reshifted, and it sucks, but I want to be cautious of it because let's say it ain't over. Okay, let's say if we get a wave like in 1918 to 1920, when the Spanish flu and they released everybody in 1918, they said, oh, it's all gone. It came back twice, 3 times, 4, 5 times as hard, and almost 5 million people died. So we definitely don't want something like that to happen. Guys, open up. Oh, that's cool. Denmark is opening up again. See, that's great. It's also worth noting that as we sit here and incubate in our own little areas and stuff like that, we also are kind of, some people say, we're providing our immune system a deficiency from not being out in the open and not being around people. So it's almost like you have to go out and you have to gain these build up these antibodies for this kind of stuff. So I don't really know. I know one thing is I don't want it. I don't want to spread it to anybody. So being as cautious I am, we'll continue to monitor this thing daily, weekly, and see what happens. I hope you guys, wherever you're at in the world, if you're watching live, obviously my family, and then my friends who are here watching live, I hope that you guys are staying safe, being prepared. I got to be honest with you. What's the big deal with masks? Anybody tell me what is the big issue with masks? We're not asking people to take fingers off here or wear a dildo on their nose. Sorry, that was kind of a vulgar description, but it's really weird with the masks. I just don't understand. I see all these videos of people attacking each other and just flipping out over this whole business of wearing masks. I mean, you'd think that just wearing a mask for a little bit is probably going to be beneficial, right? Thanks, Steve. And it's not the end of the world. Just put the thing on, and we'll get through this together. But I know certainly here in America, we're going to always, butt heads, and people are going to be defiant. It's kind of funny. 1 year before COVID was passed, lawmaking wearing masks in public illegal. Great time. So New Zealand said that they were COVID-free. Yes, I heard that. I have a few friends in New Zealand. They did say they were COVID-free. So, that's great. Hopefully they'll not have any more concerns or issues or bounce backs and stuff like that. And I think that's one of the things that's really important is You should make a mask like that. You could. I know, man. Dude, I would love to. Greg, you want one of those masks? No, I can't. Yeah, that would be pretty funny. People would like that. They'd probably wear that. But yeah, it just kills me. I'm baffled at the amount of pushback people are giving just wearing a simple mask. But maybe it's something that I'm really used to because the 6 years that I lived in China, I always wore a mask at least 4 days a week from October to March. Cobra Commander wore a mask. My man, you see, that's what I'm saying. What's the big deal? Cobra Commander wore it. But anyway, let's move on. One thing that I'm excited about is this basketball reopening down in Disneyland. That tournament for the NBA. I saw basketball is coming back. I saw that hockey is just hanging in there. They're about to sign things to get things rolling with a tournament. I'm not too sure the logistics because they do also change. Unfortunately, baseball is the problem. We can't get it back up and running. They just can't agree with, the owners don't want to pay full salaries for the players because they're obviously not making the revenue that they would be on a full season. It's just, I don't know. Don't know what's going to happen with baseball. Football even, the worst case scenario for me is if football comes back and we're all geared and going and the Bills are like 8-0 and we're just rocking, dude. And then all of a sudden it breaks out again somewhere in like the end of October, early November. I do not want a shortened season. I want the Bills to win all 16 games, win the playoffs and the Super Bowl. I don't want to be an asterisk team. I don't want anything cut short. Love to have the fans in there. It's going to be really strange with 80,000 screaming fans missing, but I'd prefer just to have football back in general, rather than that they don't have any audience or fans and stuff like that. But we'll have to see. Of course they're going to have an audience. I think the product at home, for me personally, is better. Let's go Buffalo. Hey. Listen, Wunderbar, Tenacious Freak, Barrow. If you guys are looking for an American football team, please go with the Buffalo Bills. You'll never be disappointed. You'll fall in love. Our community, our people, our team is the greatest team ever. That's it. End of story. I'm not arguing that. All right. Now, I want to talk about the next thing, but I want to definitely get myself a little drinky drink and tell you how this Warsteiner. If you're just joining us, this is what we're drinking today. We are drinking one of my favorite beers in all the world. It is Warsteiner German Pilsner out of Berlin. Delicious beer, warm, hearty, roasted, kind of malty flavor. And we're going to go in for another sip. Man, I could just close my eyes and imagine Oktoberfest. Oh man, what do we got? Yes. All right. Well, sorry, Wunderbar or Tenacious, I missed your thing. But yeah, this is a really good beer. A lot of Europeans and some of you guys that are here with us can vouch for this. You call our American beer wimp beer or water beer or whatever. Now, the Warsteiner is a lesser strength of a beer, but it definitely has a lot of flavor to it. That's one thing I will say. We just bought Czech Pilsner from a local brewery out here. Yes, I love Czech Pilsner. All right, instead of war, say var W's. They are pronounced with a so what are you telling me there, Greg? Are you telling me this is Warsteiner? Is this called Warsteiner? All right. Well, no wonder Germans didn't know what I was saying. All right, talk about an asshole traveler. This guy. That's okay. I still make do. I have a great time, and well, I'm really looking forward to. In EU, we are mostly buy dark beer to enjoy light beer to get drunk with. Yeah, that's safe to say. Well, what is your? I mean, you're from Denmark. Do you like Carlsberg? Is that your beer of choice when going with light beer? I'm gonna have to stick to the Warsteiner in terms of European, but we have another delicious Pilsner on today's show. So let me go ahead and talk about cheers, Greg Z. Yeah, all right, Tenacious Freak and Greg Z teaming up, power team. All right, so Another thing I want to talk about is all this crazy stuff going on. I'm not going to get into it too much. I saw that there was another police shooting in Atlanta. A man by the name of Rashard Brooks was he fell asleep. Poor guy was drunk. Went to Wendy's, thought he was going to get a double stack and maybe a biggie bag or something. And well, yeah, he was confronted by the police, had some issues with them, and I don't know what happened. I'm not going to get too much into it, but the guy ends up running away, and the police officer shoots him in the back, kills him. And it is just getting, like, I just don't know what to say. I have no words. I'm lost for words on the daily stuff that I'm seeing come out, whether it's on this side or this side. It's just really tragic. Another man lost his life for really no reason, you know. Yeah, it's really sad. You know, those of you that aren't American, you probably wouldn't understand how much this is cutting into our country, and just the epic divide. If we weren't before because of politics, now it's gotten even worse, you know. So I hope that it ends soon. My heart goes out to that man and his family. That police officer should face the justice system. They tased him, but had no effect. And when he tried to grab the cop's gun, what can you do? Well, see, I wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see the whole video. I didn't know he tried to grab the gun, but I'm just saying it's a tragic situation again. And during this time, you'd hope that this stuff ceases and it all works its way out. I see there's a lot of talk about defunding the police. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with that? I mean, not going to get into it too much, but what I think is along the lines of what Joe Rogan was saying, and if anything, they should give the police more money. They should give more money to the people of law enforcement so that they can be properly trained. These stories only tell a half. You need to do research to get the full story. Yeah. See, that's why I'm not getting into it too much, Greg. To be honest, I don't want to look like a buffoon out here, you know, and you know, I certainly don't want to hurt anybody's feelings and stuff. I'm just talking about the grand scheme of the issue. The poor man lost his life, and you know, that's the sad part. But like I said, defunding the police, you know, I just don't know what to say to this kind of thing. Except for I think they should give the police more money to properly train them as they continue going along. It's a hard job, man. But let's move on. I do think one cool thing, if you haven't seen or not, I know you probably saw in Washington, D.C., they painted Black Lives Matter along the street. Well, down in Hollywood Boulevard, not too far from me. In Norway, the police do not carry guns, only the special forces guns. Sadly, I cannot say the same about Denmark, but I love the incentive. It is hard to maintain. Well, see, here's the issue with the United States is the police carry gun because we're allowed to carry guns too as citizens, and whether or not they're legal or not, the protection has to be on the officer. And so many times, you know, civilians have pulled guns on police and law enforcement. So what do you do? I don't know. I'm not a civil kind of engineer that's going to understand social, you know, politics and everything that goes along with this kind of thing. So we're just going to button this up. I do want to say, if you haven't seen Hollywood Boulevard, which is only a few miles from the studio and my home right here, has now painted all Black Lives Matter, and the matter is like in the rainbow for pride. So, you know, that's kind of cool. You know, I like that when they paint the street that, and it's harmless. It's bringing awareness. And yeah, it's pretty interesting to see, and they were able to do that. And living here in Los Angeles, it's a giant city and a really big country like America. So you're gonna have a ton of opinions. In Europe, they come after you with knives and hammers. Yeah, that is just gonna get, you know, a little convoluted. I just wanted to bring up what is going on, and that is going on. There's a lot of defacing property too, with old statues and things like that. So we're going to see where this goes. Hopefully we'll go back to, well, no virus, and peace amongst the people. That's what I hope for. That's what I pray for. And I really hope that is in the best interest of everybody, and everybody stays safe and enjoys their life. And well, at this time, let's go back to the Warsteiner. All right, plowing through it. Really good taste. You know, it tastes like a meal. That's the thing I like about this thing. There's this Korean rice tea. When you drink it, it's like made of brown rice, and when you drink it, it almost feels like you're eating. That's what I get when I'm having this beer. It's like I'm drinking it, but I'm eating something. I'm you know like eating a big loaf of like hard, dark, you know, European bread, and it is really delicious. And I definitely suggest, if you see Warsteiner in the store, pick it up. You're gonna like it. Really delicious. And yeah, let's go ahead, and I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and slug it down. What do we got here? The media in the US is crap. They cause most of the problems because they don't tell. I gotta be honest with you, that's the sentiment amongst most people. And yeah, and another issue is, unfortunately, social media winds a lot of people up. And well, depending which news you watch and which half story you watch, then it might get regurgitated or reproduced on social media by somebody that definitely, well, doesn't go ahead and know the whole story. We'll just say that after that, I'm not getting into it. Let's move on to the next thing. And that is the video that came out last week on Monday. I don't know if you guys checked out the micro video. And my micro videos are basically, well, they're a reproduction of what I did about a year and a half ago. So I'm on a cycle of about a year and a half with my channel. And most vlogs that I do are over 10 minutes, under 20 minutes. So I'd say between 15 and 18 minutes. So if you want to check out a really cool micro episode, they're usually about 4 to 6 minutes, and they come out on Mondays on my channel. But this upcoming Monday, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put out a video called Soap Plant Wacko. Or like, you know, in LA we call it Wackos, and it is the coolest freaking store you've ever seen. They got all kinds of knick-knack, bric-a-brac, all kinds of crazy stuff. Yes, black bread with Limburger cheese. You like that, huh, Pop? Yeah, Soap Plant Wacko is this crazy, like, I don't even know how to explain this place, but it's a toy store that has a lot of weird, cool things from the 80s. It's got lots of cool and hip books. It's got an art gallery in it. And if you check it out this Monday on my channel, you'll be able to see as I tour through there, and I show you some old-fashioned candy. I go ahead and show you, I know Steve knows this. Remember those old, you know, like foam things called Mad Balls from the 80s? They were about like the size of what my hand's holding out, and they had a guy who's like this, and you know, I found one of those there. Just all kinds of weird stuff, lots of toys. And that video comes out this Monday, so check it out. It's a shorter version. If you want to see the full version, down in the description there's a link that will connect you to the full version. But yeah, check that video out and tell me what you think of Soap Plant Wacko, or Wackos in Hollywood, just like the Wackos here. All right, let's go ahead and finish this one off, and I want to get to the next European delicious Pilsner. Man, absolutely delicious. Really enjoy every sip of this. If you're just joining us and you want to check it out, where's Uncle John? I don't know where Uncle John is, man. He hasn't made it today. That's okay. Can't make them all. I do appreciate when you can hop on, but this is what we just had. Yes, Steve, you still have the Mad Balls? Warsteiner, delicious beer. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. I believe you. I talked about working at a museum or so one of your videos where I'm yeah, I worked at I worked at a museum called the Griffith Observatory. You could check out those videos too. That was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. That is like the #1 tourist spot in Los Angeles. It's a beautiful, like, old it was built in 1934 Art Deco building. It overlooks all of Los Angeles. The Hollywood sign is just behind you, a few miles, like, you can literally see Hollywood. I worked at that as a space museum for about 2 years. Absolutely loved it. Loved the people there. Really just absolutely loved it. And if you get a chance, check out that place. You will like it. The video is cool, and you'll be able to see like a real meteorite that I used to, oh man, I used to love holding that thing. It's crazy. It's like 8 pounds, and it's just a little rock. You made the videos on it. I must have missed them. Oh no, you can go back and check them out on the channel. Check them out on the channel. All right, so Warsteiner, like I said, had it before, had it in Germany, was psyched to have it here. Definitely more of a malty kind of roasted flavored beer, almost like a meal. Really delicious, smooth. It registers at a 4.8%. Overall, it's a great time, and that's why we're going to give the Warsteiner from Germany an excellent score of a 9. That's right, a 9. Woohoo! Yes, love this beer. Check it out if you get a chance to try it. Yeah, I definitely suggest it because it's really good. That's it. All right, the next beer also comes from Europe. And this is one of the most classic, famous. This one comes from Holland, the Dutch. Okay, and this one, growing up, I used to work at this place called Consumer Beverages. Worked there with the Castles, Schwagler, my brother Mark worked there. And we're always baffled at what this beer tasted like, because it came in a big 22 bottle, and we really couldn't drink at the time, but we were still drinking, that kind of thing. But I'm talking about this beer right here, the funky green bottle, the classic bottle, the mysterious GROLSCH. You already know, Greg. Yeah, IPA, man, rate of Pilsner 9. Dude, I'm sorry, Tenacious Freak. It's so good, though, man. It's so good. You can give a Pilsner a good score. Doesn't always have to be like a crafty IPA. But thanks for the comment. I like that. I like to hear where your stand on it. And I hope one day I get a chance to come back to Denmark and enjoy a Pilsner, a lager, an IPA with you. It would be awesome. But yeah, this is what we're drinking from Holland, the Dutch GROLSCH. Now check this thing out. Yep, just saw a glimpse of the top. Check this thing out. Such a weird top on it, right? Okay, so the alcohol percentage on this thing is not too high. Where the hell is it? Sorry, the studio is a little dark here. The thing is, if I use my lights, my studio lights, it completely bleaches me out for the live show. So we don't turn the lights on for the live show. Okay, there it is. It is 5% alcohol. The thing I like about this bottle is it's a little bit bigger. Now, it's been brewed from 1615, okay? But check this thing out. It's a really cool top, okay? It's got like a wire on it. It's got a cork in it, like a rubber cork. If you can see the rubber cork on this thing. Just an unusual bottle of beer that you don't really see much. But then we go ahead and you break this, and this is how you open it. Almost like a wine. Hold on a minute. All right, so we clip that. The airstream comes out. The rubber cork pops up. Down goes the lassie, and boom. All right, right away. Not too skunky like a Heineken or like most green bottles. And we've had this discussion many of times on the show. Does the light for refraction through clear and green bottles skunk the beer? I don't know, but I definitely, 2 thumbs up on each side, cool bottle. I know this is awesome, but I definitely can smell that it has that hint smell, that kind of flavor of a skunk. And let's go ahead and let's pour it in. Cleaned out the glass. Let's go ahead and pour the GROLSCH. This is also a Pilsner, so Tenacious Freak, I'm sorry if I give this one a good score. Well, I don't shy away from a good beer and giving it a score of a 9. But you can see the color in this one is almost the exact color as the Warsteiner, and we're spilling it a little bit. That's okay. We can clean up the floor a little bit later. All right. Definitely a little slightly darker than the last one, but really light enough where I can still see you. I can still see you guys through here. As I smell it, you're getting a good wafting smell of a skunky flavor. I'm not sure what it is, but it's always going on in these green bottles. And, well, the most famous of all the green bottles is the Heineken, which also hails from Holland. Are you the IPA man? I'm a Pilsner man myself. That's a tough question. You know, I like IPAs a lot. The problem with IPAs are, I got really into them, and I like day drinking. And when I drink IPAs, the problem is you shut the lights off after about 3 or 4, and if you get into about 6 or 7, you don't know what happened. You gotta literally call everyone you were with the night before, the next day, and say, "Hey, did I do anything wrong?" So I definitely TF, me too, TF. I'm not sure what me too TF means, Stevo. Um, but yeah. So I guess if I would probably have to say, I'm probably a lager kind of guy. So I think that's darker, a little bit darker and stronger than a Pilsner, and a little bit lighter than the IPA. But I do like to start off most days of beer drinking with about 2 IPAs of really good flavor, and then bring it down to a lager, and then usually close it out with a couple of Pilsners and maybe a couple of vodka sodas. So yeah, there it is. Let's take a look. Delicious, smells good, and we're gonna go ahead and take a big sip of this Grolsch. Oh, wow. Okay. Much different than the Warsteiner. Much different. All right. Definitely has a strong aftertaste of that weird fragrance of a skunk. I'm not sure what it is. It's there on every green bottle. It's just, if you've ever had a green bottle of beer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's not terrible, right? It's not awful. It's not like you're drinking old sock water. You know, I was just trying to say like Pilsners as well as. Oh, okay. You like Steve? Okay, Tenacious Freak. You got my brother Steve, a Pilsner. Unfortunately, he is afraid to fly, so unless he grows a set of balls and gets on an airplane, you're going to have to come to us. But we got a spot for you called the Buffalo Tap Room. You come drink it up with us, and, well, get a couple of Pilsners for everybody. But yeah, not a bad first sip. Definitely like the taste of it. I've had it since those days when I was curious back at the consumer days, and me and the Castles were always wondering, like, what the hell is this bottle? All right, just a really cool thing. You know, one of the things is it's a little bit bigger of a bottle as it weighs in at how many ounces. Let's see how many fluid ounces this thing is. All right, so this one is 12 fluid ounces. All right. This one is Steve, and when you go ahead and buy this one, it comes in usually a 4-pack, or you can buy it in what's considered here in America as the 22, the deuce. I got that from the first try, Steve. Let's go get streams for the boys. Another mark in here. All right, nice. All right, wunderbar, you Americans and your imperial system. Yes, I know. We still, you know, call it fluid ounces and inches and pounds. But you know what's weird? Stone. You ever hear that one? Weighing in at 14.5 x stone. You're just like, what does that mean? I think it's British. I think it's used in the UK. Can anybody explain to me what the measurement of stone is? I know it's in weight, and they use it in boxing and UFC when there's events in England. But yeah, that one's peculiar. That one even beats us. All right, the next thing I want to talk about is a funny ass movie. Yeah, that's right. Guys, do you want to laugh your ass off? And this isn't what are you watching? This is just something that I happen to stumble upon every once in a while. I've heard them, but I understand none of them. This is so funny. This movie, you got to see this movie. Now I get a lot of shit for what I'm about to say, but I don't care. I still love it. And this isn't what are you watching, but one of my favorite actors is Adam Sandler. But one of my favorite groups and troops, or whatever the hell you want to call it, is the Adam Sandler Happy Gilmore troupe. And guys, if you want to stay up all night laughing, or you want to watch a really funny movie, you got to check this movie out on Netflix called The Wrong Missy. Oh, it is brilliant. It is so funny. It is with Lauren Lapkus, Jackie Sandler, who is Adam Sandler's wife, and David Spade. Now, David Spade, I'm going to just give you a little bit of what happens. David Spade goes on a blind date. I don't know whether he met her at Tinder or whatever, and that's the character played by Lauren Lapkus, and she is a freaking disaster. Like the worst date you ever possibly went on. Sorry, I just started laughing. Anyway, he never saves her name under the text. But then he bumps into somebody 3 months later, and her name is also Melissa. Anyway, he invites her to Hawaii. Been thinking about seeing that. No spoil. Okay, I'm not going to say any more after this, but you got to see this movie. Then anyway, he invites the wrong Missy, hence the title. That's all I'm going to say. Please watch that movie. You'll laugh your ass off. If you liked Wedding Crashers, if you liked Forgetting Sarah Marshall, if you like that kind of rom-com, over-the-top stuff, definitely watch that. I was crying. I started watching it at like midnight, assuming I would fall asleep, but stayed up and watched the entire thing. Brilliant movie. Loved it. Watching Crashers. God, it's been so long. Oh, yes. Dude, Wedding Crashers is great. Name your favorite rom-com right now, guys. What's your favorite rom-com? I want to see it pop up there. Cheers now. Let's go back to the Dutch GROLSCH. It's weird. It's got a really nice flavor, even though the skunkiness is still there. It's smooth, and much like the Warsteiner, it does have kind of that that like mealy taste to it. I guess that's the best word to describe it. It's like a mealy beer. It's like a beer that you're drinking that almost tastes like food. Really delicious, and although it is a little skunky, it's okay. We're getting through it. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is, well, let's get into next week's video. I've talked to you a little bit about it last week. I briefed you on it. I mean, is there any other choice than white chicks? White Chicks is funny. White Chicks is funny. Clueless is funny. I don't know if you guys saw Clueless. Some of you guys that know me are here. You know, I got a chance to work with Alicia Silverstone. Was it 2 years ago? Her show, it was called American Woman. It only did one season on the Paramount Network. Basically, I played the cop, and I was able to, you know, I had to arrest her. She's a really nice person, really nice actress. Really overall had a great time working on that show, but Clueless was also one of those, but I'm not sure if that exactly would categorize as a rom-com, but that style of movie, and you are gonna love The Wrong Missy. But Blended is pretty good. I've never seen that. Is that on Netflix, Steve? Huh. All right, let's talk about next week's video, because we're, you know, already 47 minutes in. Guys, thank you so much. Having a great time. Really appreciate you guys hanging with me, especially if you're up in the mountains or if it's late at night and you're in Denmark or wherever the hell you're calling in from. Blended Adam Sandler movie. Oh, I'm gonna have to check that out. I didn't see that. I want to see Super Dad. Is it #1 Dad or something like that? I love that. That crew is just, man, yeah, brilliant. And man against Steve. All right, so let's finally talk about next week's video. I already alluded to it last week. I'm gonna go ahead and go through it. Like, I was trying to do a lot of the fast food restaurants, and they were just, you know, coming up empty when it comes to the secret menu. So what I've decided to do is I'm gonna do Fast Food Friday, Travel Man Dan, secret menu myself. Okay, I'm gonna create my own items, and coming up this week is a Burger King item that I'm gonna create, and we're gonna go ahead and we are gonna get a Whopper, and I'm gonna add a chicken sandwich, and then I'm gonna add onion rings to this sucker, and I'm gonna call it the friggin' Flying Cowboy, and it's gonna be delicious. So look out for that video. That's gonna be on this Friday on the Food Friday show. And then I'm going to go and explore all the different fast food restaurants. And instead of asking what's on your secret menu, I'm going to create my own ideas. I'm going to create my own creations as if I was in my kitchen making them myself. We agree on the same stuff. That's it. But how about Hot Rod is great too. Not a rom-com, but a really funny. Yeah, Hot Rod is great. Andy Samberg, when he was coming up, was hysterical. I mean, he's still funny in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Good stuff, and great cast, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, those are, those are great. For me personally, I felt like comedy took a weird shift, and I know that's, like maybe that's the boomer in me or whatever the kids want to call it. It took a weird shift after the late '80s, early '90s, but it's coming around again. There's some funny stuff in there, and yeah, I definitely enjoyed all those movies that you guys said. But stay tuned for the Burger King secret menu by Travel Man Dan. And if you have any suggestions, if you have anything that you want to see me create, go ahead, put it down in the comments below after this video is done, so I can go ahead and log it, and then we'll go ahead and do our best to get it. But I got some great ideas. We're gonna do places like Sonic. We're gonna go to Tommy's Burger. We're gonna go to some more obscure places. We might even go back to the Wiener Schnitzel and just do a whole conglomerate thing of what's called the sausage party, and just have wieners coming at you everywhere you can, you know what I mean? And just like maybe 5 to 6 different wieners all packaged in one little bun. I don't know, we'll figure it out. But yeah, stay tuned for that Food Friday coming up. I'm excited. I hope you are. Let's get back into the Grolsch. How you guys doing? Cheers to you all. Hope you're doing well on this Sunday. Really good. You know where I really want to be? Strudels, no schnitzels. Oh man, strudels. I miss Denmark. I miss Denmark. Denmark has the best strudels that you ever have tasted. I don't know what they are. They're like these weird folded bread braided danishes. They have like weird yellow thing inside of them, and then the raspberry cream, and just, oh man. A hot black coffee, and anything from any bakery in Denmark I'll take any day of the week. Better than any bowl of Lucky Charms we're ever going to get. But delicious, good stuff. And now let's go ahead and let's roll into, well, one of my favorite segments, and that is This Day in History. We call them Wiener Browds. Wiener Browds. There's just something funny about the word wiener, right? I don't know what it is, but every time I hear the word wiener, it just brings a smile to my face. It's kind of like the word fart. I don't know what you guys have in your language in Denmark, or wherever you're listening in from. If Barrow, you're still here from India, but there's just certain words in the English language, like wiener, like fart, that just, I don't know, they just bring a smile to my face. Kind of gross, kind of weird, but let's be honest here. But this day in history, what's a strudel, I wonder? Okay, you guys work out the strudel. I want to talk about this day in history. Now, I'd like to say my disclaimer. This day in history is just a little segment on my show where I found out what happened this day in history. I knew you'd like that, Steve-O. This day in history, I'm not a history teacher. I'm not a historian. I'm not a super buff. I don't get into the past too much. Fart. I just go ahead and tell you what happened on this day in history sometime back before history. So let's roll it out and let's get into it. On this day in history, in 1775, the U.S. Army forms as the Continental Army to fight the American Revolutionary War. And that is, well, what we know is today as the Army. The Army was, put together and started in this day in history in 1775. So that's pretty interesting. That's really cool. And at this time, I'd like to, send a shout out to a neighborhood friend. He's definitely a friend of Steve. He was a boyhood friend of Steve, and was always my little brother's friend. Shouts out to you, Adam Brown, for your great service to our country. We appreciate it. He just finished, I believe it was 20 years service with the Marine Corps. So, great job. We're proud of you, Adam. Come on home to Buffalo. I know you're going to be moving back into the house on North End, I believe. So just wanted to say thanks a lot as we're talking this day in history. The Army was formed. I know you served in the Marine Corps for 20 years, but just wanting you to know, as a neighborhood friend, we are proud of you and we thank you for your service. All right. On this day in history, moving right along. What do we got here? Retracted message. Retraction. What is going on? The Norske. Do we have? Yes, I love it. 2 Danish people fighting it out over danishes and strudels in their names. I'm going to tell you guys, it's gonna, Wunderstrudel, my favorite Danish bar is that raspberry bar thing. Whatever that thing is, I know you guys have it and it's plentiful in your country. That thing is my favorite all-time dessert. Love it, absolutely love it. All right, this day in history, in 1777, the Continental Congress, okay, approved the Stars and Stripes as the first national flag of the United States. That's why I'm asking if it is from Norway. That's why today is Flag Day, because on this day in history, in 1777, the Stars and the Stripes were approved by the Continental Congress to become the official flag of the United States. So, America! All right, so yeah, you know, it's always, to me, when I see the Stars and Stripes, it's always home. It's always what it's meant to me, and it's more of what's behind the flag and the freedoms and the things that we have. And, well, I guess in this certain case, like now, the troubles and issues that we have to hurdle over and get through. But I'm always proud of my country. I'm always proud to be an American. As I told you at the start of this show, I'm a man of the world. I like all countries, customs, cultures, but my favorite is my own country, and that is the Stars and Stripes of America. And absolutely, I can say I can get pissed off at them because I live here and I go through it on a daily basis, but ultimately I'm very proud of it. And on this day in history, in 1777, the Stars and Stripes were born and became the first American symbol for the American flag. Pretty cool about that, huh? All right, in this day in history, in 1876, what do we got? I love the American dream. I've always wanted to move there, but it's very far in family. Yeah, I tell you what, a lot of people want that, and a lot of people, you know, it is moving away from your family, and you know, I've done it for 20 some years in 3 different continents, in 5 different countries and states and things like that, and it's hard, it's tough, but if you ever want to try it out, I suggest to always go to a place and live there for the year. Live the full year. Just go and do it for 1 year. That's the ultimate, because the thing about living in a country for the year, and the thing that is most important, like you can go there for a week, you can go there for a month, but you don't get the full experience. And what the full experience is, one, if you live there for the full year, you'll see the seasonal changes with the weather. So if you pick a place like Buffalo, you're going to see the harsh snow. But if you pick somewhere cool like, you know, down mid-south, kind of middle America, Carolina, you're going to see all the different 4 seasons. You're going to see fall. You're going to see, which is really cool. But even more important than that, and I learned this in China one day pondering, is the coolest thing about living in a country and spending the full year, not only because of the weather and the cycle of the seasons, but you also go through that country's, all their holidays. And it's so important that you understand their customs and cultures through celebration and through their holidays, because there's so many little ones that you don't even know about, like Flag Day or things like that, or you know, and some of these really cool countries out there have all these interesting things, like Latvia, right? Latvia has your name day, which is, aside from your birthday, you also get a name day. You wouldn't know that, and you wouldn't be able to celebrate that unless you lived there. And my name day is, oh shoot, what is it? I forget. Daniel is my Latvian name, because my real name is Daniel. So Daniel is my Latvian name, and I believe my name day is in May. So I may have missed it, but whatever. So that's my suggestion. If you get a chance, check out the United States for at least 1 year. Pick a cool city. You know, you don't have to necessarily know anybody. You'll meet people. Americans are very, very friendly people. Despite what you see out there, we're actually really kind and friendly people. And once you get an American friend and family and circle of friends, they'll really take care of you as a foreigner. But on this day in history, in 1876, the first player ever to hit the cycle was George Hall, and he played for the Philadelphia Athletics. Oh, that's cool. Poland also has a name. So George Hall on this day in 1876 hit the very first cycle. And if you don't know what the cycle is, we always try to throw in a little baseball history, right? Because it's the greatest game in the world. That's very good advice. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's just, I mean, that's what I think personally, right? So, yeah, if you don't know what the cycle is, the cycle is in baseball when you hit a home run, a triple, a double, and a single, okay? All in one game. And the very first guy to do it was George Hall for the Philadelphia Athletics in 1876. Now, of those 4 hits, most people think and associate with baseball as the hardest thing to do is to hit the ball over the fence and hit a home run. Well, back in that day, it was really hard because ballparks were huge. Right down the line were like 400 something. And if you look at Yankee Stadium, it's like 312. I mean, to be honest with you, anybody could probably hit that if they are in the major leagues. So the hardest one to hit is the triple, because not only do you have to hit it in the gaps, but then you have to run 3 bases. So yeah, that's pretty cool information if you're interested about baseball. But the first person to ever hit the cycle was George Hall. On this day in history, all right, we're going to go back to 1922, okay? And President Warren G. Harding was the very first USA president to speak on the radio. Isn't that cool, right? 1922, all right, your president gets on the radio. Nowadays, I mean, come on. Look at it. We got our president, and he's over here tweeting along, and he's over on this and that, and like, you know, all politicians are going ahead and actively working on social media. But prior to 1922, there was no social contact through media with our president. So President Warren G. Harding was the very first in 1922. Now, keeping with the same theme, 1928, a couple years later, revolutionary, well, some people's eyes, savior, and some people's eyes, a disaster. But revolutionary Che Guevara was born. That was 1928. But then also, a few years later, in 1946, guess who else was born? Donald Trump. All right, the real estate mogul then became a reality star, and now the current president of the United States. So how about that? Happy birthday, Che Guevara. Happy birthday, Donald Trump. All right, let me go ahead and take another sip of this GROLSCH. That's good. One thing I like about this beer, and I like this beer glass. If you're new to the show, or if you've been watching a long time, we just switched over to this glass. It's still keeping the beer nice and cool. All right, on this day in history, in 1987, all right, this was a sad day for me. My older brother, Stevie, was only a couple years older, so he wasn't or a couple years alive. But sad day, very sad day. As in 1987, this day in history, the last episode of the A-Team aired. It was on NBC. After 4 seasons, they took off Hannibal. They took off Face, Murdoch, and B.A. Baracus. Damn, that was a great show. All right, the A-Team. But my favorite show from the 80s would be a very similar style to the A-Team. I don't know, a lot of people don't remember this. Maybe you do, Dad, but who's ever seen Airwolf? All right, that's my favorite show from the 80s. Hopping right on over to what are you reading, what are you watching. We're not wasting any time, we're rolling right into it. Thanks for joining me, thanks for hanging with me. Guys, this is what I'm reading, really fun, cool book. We brought it up on this show, one of the very first episodes, and that is Jim Bell's The Ultimate Interplanetary Travel Guide. As a travel show host, I've always wondered what it would be like to travel to outer space, to travel to the moon, to any different planet. I don't know, after watching that video a couple weeks ago of those astronauts flying 17,000 miles per hour, I'd probably pass out. Definitely would. But this is a really great book, and as we can see, it's got these great graphics inside of it, and it basically plants out all these different moons and all these really cool like planets where if you would travel to it, obviously in the future, another 50 years, I think he kind of projected everything, what it would be like and what you would need to plan, everything from the type of gear that you would need to bring along to the type of, well, climates that you were going to, whether you were going to a gaseous planet or a rocky, cold planet. And it's just really fun. It's an easy read. Like here, it's what causes Jupiter's auroras or northern lights. I mean, you guys up in Scandinavia are real familiar with the northern lights there, but we live on Earth. But what causes Jupiter's ones? And then he lists it out here, and it's really kind of fun and interesting book. And if you ever want to check this one out, I'll go ahead and be sure to put it down in the description. You can go ahead and check it out on Amazon. But it is the ultimate interplanetary travel guide, written by Jim Bell, who coincidentally, as we were talking before, he was at the Griffith Observatory, and I got him to autograph this book. So really cool, really easy, nice, friendly guy. I can't find the autograph, but he definitely did sign it because I sat there and chatted with him, and he asked me what my favorite place would be, and I told him probably, if I could go anywhere, it would be one of Saturn's moons. I think the volcanic rock land or something cool like that. But who knows, man? We'll see what happens. You never know what kind of movies are out there and who's going to write. Maybe, shit, I'll write it myself, where Travel Man Dan starts going to interplanetary travel. All right. That's what I'm reading. If you want to go ahead and let me know what you're reading, I'd love to hear from you. But now I want to talk about what I'm watching. And as I alluded to earlier before, Adam Sandler is one of my favorite actors. And I got on this little thing where I was going to, let's check these two movies out. So I checked out The Wrong Missy, and then I watched this movie. And if you haven't seen it, I definitely suggest taking about 2 hours and 20 minutes and investing in it. It's one of the wackiest things. It's one of the weirdest shot and audio. It's nerve-wracking to watch this stuff. It's like watching two people argue for 2 hours. It's just unbelievable. And I'm talking about Adam Sandler's Uncut Gems. Anybody see that one? Wow. No spoilers, but holy cow. I haven't seen a movie like that, I don't think, ever. And I'm not just saying that because I really like Adam Sandler, but the way that they twist in music and the eeriness and just the life that Adam Sandler lives as the character in that movie is just a brilliant and outstanding character portrayal. And I definitely think he should be up for some type of award for that movie, as you just can't take your eyes off it. I know some people will find it a little too nerve-wracking, but it's so real of a character, and all the different characters is such an interesting story. If you get a chance, check out Uncut Gems and let me know what you think. Has anybody seen this? Are you guys out there still? Has anybody checked it out? It's definitely still on Netflix. I'm not going to get into it too more, because I don't want to give you any spoilers. What we're going to do now is we're going to slam the rest of this GROLSCH. And if you're just joining us, GROLSCH is a Dutch beer. It's got this cool pop top thing. It is a green bottle, and we're going to go ahead and drink it. I'm going to give it a score, and I'm going to leave this episode with a quote from a really talented and, well, I'll just wait. Hold on. That is good. Really good. Much like the Warsteiner, like I said before, it's got a mealy, malty taste. You can definitely taste the delicious barley. Really nice flavor to it. Wasn't really thrilled and too keen about drinking it as I smelled the green skunkiness open this top. You can almost see the smoke come out of it, but it ended up being all right and just needed a little bit of air to breathe. And well, it was a delicious Pilsner. And nope, I've been thinking about it, but then I decided not to. I might look at it. Dude, check it out, man. Tenacious Freak. It's really good. Give yourself some space though to comprehend it, because you might start watching it and it's like, what am I watching? Why am I watching it? But definitely check it out. Really nice beer. Had it before. Like to revisit it occasionally. Would definitely suggest if you get a chance to try it out. And that's why I'm going to give this beer an 8. A solid 8. So, delicious beer. The Dutch GROLSCH gets an 8. The Warsteiner from Germany gets a 9. And so this is what he said. And he was saying this when talking to graduates, and you can't help but think for these poor kids that are graduating, whether they're from college or from high school right now with all this stuff going on with the COVID. But this is what he said. He said, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. And it's just such a it's just so impactful, because when we oftentimes look at our life and we think about it and we wonder, like, did we screw up, or did we not do the right things in the past, or what's in the future, and how am I going to get through this? And people are scared, right? And they're just a little bit unfamiliar, or a lot unfamiliar, and just completely scrambled. And some people that are battling mental problems, okay, I want you to start and think about this, okay? He says, start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. And it's just so profound, because everybody has something to offer. Everybody has some type of value. Everybody has something that they can contribute to society, to the human race. And it doesn't matter what happened before, and you don't know what's going to happen. But what is most important is that if you start right now, you do have something. Now, you might not have something in the entire field and grand scheme of everything, but you have one thing, one talent, something to give, and then just start, okay? And use that thing and build upon that. And through that, you're going to go ahead and you're going to build yourself, and whatever your capacity is, whatever you're doing and whoever you're dealing with is going to grow. It's going to continue to go and get bigger, and hopefully that you can go ahead and you can live a nice, great life like everyone wants. And I just think that quote from Arthur Ashe is just so impactful, especially to young people. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that maybe you can, once I'm done blabbering and talking about it, because I get excited, I get passionate about it. These kinds of things excite me. I hope that you can go ahead and sit and listen and ponder what it means to you. And you think about your life and you say, you know what? I'm going to start today. Okay? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use what I have today. Okay? And I'm going to do whatever I can. It's important, guys. It's important. Thanks for the quote, Arthur Ashe. And guys, if you're still with me live, or if you sat through this whole thing, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great week. Bless you all. To my father, my brother, I hope you're doing well. Dad, enjoy it up in the Adirondacks with the family. I hope you're having a great time. Everybody else, thank you so much.